All right. Thank you so much for this prize of your time. Thanks for gained due to my activity on your course, which I've been loving so far. The reason I did have the idea of recording it is so we can both get to know each other better. And of course, you're probably going to do more training. So I appreciate all your knowledge. So I guess the first question that comes to mind, if you've done this type of quiz, is what is your Myers-Briggs personality type or any other types of personality?
Absolutely. I've definitely done personality tests before, but Cathy, I could not tell you what I am. I mean, I don't remember the all the abbreviations, though. If you tell me the main categories, I can just tell you because I mean, we all know ourselves, right? For the most part.
Yeah, I don't remember them either. But I've taken it multiple times and
Okay.
I'm a certain personality. So
Okay.
that's why I was just curious to see if yours was a certain type or whatever, to see if it fits the stereotypes of
Okay.
their description, But thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I mean,
And then I have understood that you have multiple courses. I actually now think you have three. Do you mind explaining more your creative birthing of your babies? Like which one came first, and then how did you have the idea of the next
love
one
that.
and the next one, and how do you have now?
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for asking that. So, I do have multiple coaching programs and programs in general, courses, programs. I don't know how I feel about that because I'm actually trying to cut down right now, right? A big thing that we teach and we focus on in time mastery is focus. Like, have you gotten to, I believe it's module 3? Have you gotten to module 3 yet? You're on 3. Did you watch the module?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Just did right now.
Oh, perfect. Do you remember the two charts,
Mm-hmm.
two graphs where, on one side, if you're doing like 5 or 6 different main things, mainly talking business career wise, well, you're super scattered, right? Let's say you have a YouTube channel, then you're also doing babysitting, and then you've got your coaching business and you've got e-commerce business. Like it's not going to work, right? And you've got a bit of progress in each, but none really reach that level where we call it, oh, you've made it. Whereas if you just have one main thing, well, then you can go a lot faster. And the chance of you shooting up that line of success is going to be much higher, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for that reason, I don't know how happy I feel about me having several programs, but I'll share with you what I do have. So I've got Time Mastery, and that was the first offer I ever did. That started 2 years ago, basically exactly 2 years ago. Launched it on March 1st of 2021. Now we're what, March 7th? Yeah. And how that started with was I had this massive transformation myself. So you probably know of this, Cathy. I mean, I talk about it in all my videos. High performance literally took me from no direction. I was making $10 per hour, just waitressing, like doing very simple jobs, right? And it changed me, right? I started thinking bigger. I started reading a lot of self-development books, books about habits, time management, etc. And I just started having this urgency, right? And then I invested in mentors, etc. So basically, let's say time mastery formed first offer. And then after that, I mean, I do have a few ascensions from that too, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. Like there's also time mastery lifestyle, not just time mastery training program, right? But the second branch and the next step for me was Inner Circle. And Inner Circle is a very small group program. I don't really talk about it much because I'm very selective with who I bring in. It's where I help coaches start and scale their own coaching business, just like I did 2 years ago, and scale it to 10K per month within 90 days or less. That's the goal. Okay. Yeah, so I teach them that exact process. And that started because, I mean, I'd gone through it myself. I had a lot of clients from Time Mastery asking me, hey, Leah, how'd you do it? Right? Can you teach me? So I thought, I mean, yeah, I guess I could teach you. So launched that, did pretty well. And then I also, late last year, late 2022, I launched a Chinese course. It's low ticket just because I have a lot of Chinese fans on this platform. So there we've got close to 200 people, I would say, maybe a bit more. So those are the main three right now.
Congrats. I love it. Thank you for sharing. So
Sure.
I think that's where I thought it was three, even though you do have three, the ascension from the time mastery. Someone is in that.
Yes,
So I think
Sophia.
they,
It's your partner, right?
yeah, Sophia,
That's
Fang
part.
Fang. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's in it.
Fang Xiao. Mhm.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, I'm like, whoa, I wonder what else she has. So now that you shared, and now that you also know that I have the goal of creating the piano teaching, my vision is basically I want to have the sessions where the students, whether they're homeschooled or they like to teach themselves, even if they're after school program type, they can basically learn. And then when they come to me, they're ready to ask me questions like, did I do this right? How is this? So it's kind of like where it's an add-on to the one-on-one, but then it'll also be available for individuals to learn on their own and they don't have to come to me.
Absolutely.
But that I feel is targeting children.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have two other pillars that I wanted, which was helping moms of like babies to toddlers to preschool and their music journey because of the development that the brain goes through for young
Yeah.
children, even just and then also for adults.
Yeah.
So that being said, is that too many branches?
I would start with one, like everything. For me, I didn't start with 3 different programs or courses, right? I started with just one. And then it was only after more than a year that I launched the next thing, right? So I would say start with one, even if it's within one niche, which is teaching piano. Like you've got all these different levels, age ranges, and I'm sure for every level, age range, etc., all these combinations, how you teach what you teach is going to be different, right? So I think one of the easiest ways, maybe not, again, you know this better than me, but I'm thinking maybe not age, rather separating by levels. Because, maybe someone who's 50 and 14, they're the same level. Well, why can't they be in the same course, right? So I would just do levels like primary, intermediate, advanced, for example, and then I would start with one, right? Obviously, you want to get all 3 levels done as quickly as possible, but start with one. And then if you're like, hey, I think this one is solid now, then I would build the next and then the next. And obviously the goal can be, well, every client that joins you or every student, they don't just go through one level, but your goal should be, okay, once they're done with primary, how can I get them to intermediate and then advanced, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So I appreciate that. Thank you. And okay, because you mentioned inner circle. Is that kind of like a mastermind or is that like a training in itself?
Well, what do you mean by mastermind or training? Like, what are the differences you're thinking about?
Great question. So I guess when I hear inner circle, for me, it sounds like a mastermind, which from what I have understood is kind of like a group where they all are able to create synergy and like work off of each other. So it's kind of like everybody's kind of in the same level, but everyone helps each other out with their different strengths and weaknesses or connections and ideas. While I guess if it's a training like the time mastery training for business owners, content creators, that's where I'm not clear as to what those two are.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I would say inner circle is definitely more of a mastermind because everyone's literally in a very similar position, right? Like the target audience is very specific. It's someone who wants to create a high ticket coaching program and they are stuck. I mean, they're stuck at either 0 or maybe a few thousand per month, right? But they want to get to 10,000 per month because that's typically a good benchmark to aim for initially. So it's definitely, the community adds a lot. All our members, they also have calls with each other. They do, they practice their sales calls. They give each other feedback on their programs, etc. So that adds a lot, but it's also, I will literally teach them through modules and videos, step by step, how to do things, right? How do you conduct a sales call? How do you post a piece of content? What are the different kinds of content to post? How do you do a call to action, etc.? Yeah.
Got it. So let's say I want to be part of the inner circle.
Okay.
What would you need to see my training and my course and my income to be able to qualify?
What would I need to see from your training? Well, I mean, some people start Inner Circle with nothing, like literally no niche and no program yet. So there's no prerequisite in that sense, right? You can literally come in with nothing. For you, you already have a niche, right? You probably already started your program, so that's great. It's going to give you a head start. In terms of income, I don't think there's a specific threshold either. It's just where we're getting you to, right? So we want to get you to 10K per month within 90 days.
Got it. Fun. Interesting. Something to work towards. Okay. Now, for where I'm at right now with the time mastery program, I guess my question to you as a high achiever is, I mean, you did mention it in module 3, but I don't know if that works for me, so I'm stuck. Okay. The MITs, for example.
Right.
I'll have 3, but then down the night before, and then I mix in a few to-dos. And I know you mentioned to highlight them, and I know there's other courses that say schedule it in. But I feel like either A, I didn't write them down because I don't do that consistently and I forget, or B, interruptions do come up and then I feel like I have to turn out that fire. So I feel like you're going to say set boundaries. But what do you personally do that helps you see your MIT and accomplish your MITs daily?
Absolutely.
It's important.
So, yeah, first thing you said was sometimes you don't write them down. Is that true? Okay.
Yes.
Start there. Like
I don't have the consistency yet because I just started your program, but before in the past I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, so you're building up to that. Module 6 is all about planning. So, very soon you're going to be planning every single day, and it's always the night before, because there's no better thing than waking up knowing exactly what you have to do. And on top of that, if you plan the night before, then you go to bed with a clear head. You no longer have to think about ever, oh, what do I still have to do? Right? Oh, what did I get done today? Like those thoughts, they're so annoying when it comes to sleep, right? And they're not good for your sleep quality either. So definitely write them down and be as clear as possible with them. Even though they might be bigger projects, like I want to work on my course, that's not good enough, right? Like for me, if I set an MIT related to my program, I'll say, I'm going to finish this specific module, right? Or I'm going to create a video for this specific module. I'm going to edit a worksheet, or I'm going to finish a worksheet for this specific module. So it's that specific, right? To the point where I can see it done. Like I can see it all the way through until completion. So that's one. Write it down, be super specific. And then in terms of how to not get distracted, well, what kind of distractions are we talking about?
External, like
okay.
Maybe family wanting me to do something, or friends needing a favor, or
okay. So let's talk family first. I think with family, obviously there's got to be cooperation, but the first step is you have to communicate your needs with them, your boundaries, right? And I know that can be hard to do if it's, let's say, not in your culture or just your family culture. Like if you're used to being a very open, oh, whenever you need me, come find me kind of family, I get it can be hard, but you got to set the boundaries. Otherwise, you can't expect them to not come and knock on your door or call you middle of the day, right? If they don't know, you can't expect. So I'd say number one is obviously communicating that with your family. If those boundaries are not kept by family, repeating them, right? Repeating them until it's known that this period of time, or whatever it is you do during your day, that they know your schedule to some extent, or they know your habits. Like morning is deep work, right? Morning, I'm not going to do chores, or I'm not going to, go out and run a random errand. We'll save that for the afternoon or the evenings. So repetition. And when it comes to friends needing a favor, same thing here. I think it's very important to just communicate that, right? I will say, Cathy, over the last 2 years since starting my business, I've had to let go of a few friendships. I never burn the bridge completely down, right? There's no need for that. But if a friend does not support you in what you're trying to do, I mean, you've got a big vision. Like you're trying to help 2 million people learn the art of piano, right? That's massive, and you should go for it. So if there's someone always in the way of that, to me, it's like, are they a real friend? Like if I call someone a real friend, yet every single time I try to move towards a goal, they doubt me, they try to stop me, they interrupt me, they need me all the time. Like, you know, yeah, it just wasn't.
Yeah.
So I had to cut off and say no to some friends, and some were okay with it, some were not so happy, but it's okay, right? It's okay because there's so many other people out there who would support you in what you do. They would respect your boundaries, and you could call them a real friend, you know.
Sure. Agreed. 100%. Now, because you and I met through Grant Cardone at GrowthCon this
Yes.
year in 2023, I would love to learn your experience with him. When did you start following him? What caused you to go to GrowthCon? And where you see yourself training with his courses in the future, if at all?
Absolutely. Can I ask you that question first, actually? Because I feel like I've been talking a lot, and I want to hear, how did you get to know Grant? Why did you go to GrowthCon?
Okay, so my story's a little long,
Oh,
and we'll probably trim out pauses to make it 30 minutes like cutscenes, but I'll make it short-ish. I actually wanted to stop teaching piano
oh,
because of that I wasn't planning for my retirement at all. So my goal was to, yes, teach piano, but I was going to start using the income of piano to work on real estate. And I wanted to do wholesaling of real estate. And then I started learning about all the different avenues as options.
mm,
So that's where I came across Grant Cardone's training on real estate and commercial real estate.
okay.
And I loved him. So funny and so informative. And I just got to learn so much. Then I found out, and I went to one of his trainings. Which one was the first one? I don't remember. But then from there, I saw how he teaches marketing and sales. So I needed more of that to create more income to be able to try to do the wholesaling, marketing, and all that. And then it came to my knowledge that he suggests keep your main thing the main thing. Like you said, the big pillar on the one. And for myself, my main thing was piano. That's what I was getting income with.
Yep.
So I pivoted and I said, okay, I love real estate. I'll do that in the future, but I'm going to teach piano, make that grow. And then when I have surplus, I'll put into real estate and that'll be my retirement. So then I went to GrowthCon 3 years ago during COVID when it was online.
Wow.
And yeah, I've gone every year.
Nice. I didn't know that. I didn't know you went every year since then. Okay.
Yeah, so it's my third. So it's been 3 years. I've been 3 years strong with this.
So first
So
year was,
I actually and went to his training before he was with Cardone Ventures. No,
wow.
no, 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 no. I'm lying. But it was this one program that it was the first time he did it with Cardone Ventures. Like I was one of the first ones to sign up for the accelerator program, something like that.
Very cool.
And he's grown. Like I've seen his growth, is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know exact dates. I probably am wrong on that first statement, but I see his growth.
Is Cardone Ventures the real estate one?
No, so Cardone Capital is the one.
Oh,
Cardone Ventures is the brand in Dawson where he targets the higher income already established businesses.
So you were a part of that, or?
I did I did take a couple courses that he has, which I think was scaling, and now he calls it leadership. So the leadership program I went to
Okay, very cool. It was in person?
in person.
Nice, nice. Okay, got it. Wow, so you've known Grant definitely longer than I have, because I think I only knew of Grant maybe a year ago. And it was obviously through social media. He just kept on popping up. And I do have some friends like Aaron Sirota. He also went to GrowthCon this year. He was sitting in our section somewhere. He is a massive Grant Cardone fan, and we're close. We started our coaching businesses at the same time. He took a bit of a detour, went to work for a big mentor, and then came back and did his own thing. But he actually was probably the person who really gave me the confidence to take the jump and do it. Like without him, I'm not sure if I would have started a coaching business. So I'll always be grateful to Aaron. But anyway, Grant. So Aaron, massive fan of Grant, told me to go to this event, told me to go diamond. I was like, whoa, 10K? Like I don't even know this guy very well, you know? Why would I do that? But then I looked at some reviews, I looked at the website, previous speakers, and I thought, look, if I don't go diamond, well, maybe I'm going to regret it after and be like, well, I didn't have the best experience because I didn't go diamond, because I didn't go all in, you know? So I just didn't want to have those regrets. And I decided, you know what, let's just do it. I'm going to work hard to make it back, etc. And I definitely don't regret it. You know, I thought it was incredible. And for me, you can share what was your biggest takeaway, but for me, it just expanded what I saw as normal and possible, because people are throwing around like, hey, I did 10 million, 50 million, 100 million this year. And you're like, wait, in 1 year? In 1 year? And if you think in terms of 1 year, like 10 million, 50 million, well, then over your lifetime, how many years do you have? You have many, many years, right? So that was the best part for me. It was just so expansive. Yeah. What about you?
I love it. I love it. So as to, I agree. I love the mindset work, because that is another thing that I have had to work on, limiting beliefs and whatnot. So, but also the networking, like for example, how you and I met. Every time I've gone, I meet wonderful individuals that are, one, inspiring, and or two, we can collaborate, learn from each other, support each other, help each other in some way. So I appreciate you being in my life. And yeah, definitely the speakers that he's brought on. I love their experiences and gleaning from all the questions that he has, because in the end, they're for himself, but he's allowing us to be in that bubble. So I find it exponential. It helps exponential growth in mindset, but then obviously.
100%. Yeah. Cool.
So I did have, yes, I did have one last thought that is completely deviating from these things. And I heard you mention Chinese course, and I believe you're based in China. So being in the other side of the world, I wanted to hear your experience as to, stereotypically, I have thought that in your country, you guys push, or the parents push for piano training often.
Yep.
If so, is that a correct stereotype? I'm sorry about stereotypes. And what was your experience growing up with the piano?
Absolutely. I can definitely touch on that. And sorry, the fire alarm's going off in my building. I hope you can't hear that. You're good?
It's okay. I had interruptions too. Sorry too.
Anyway, so I'm actually in New York right now. I don't know if you
Oh,
knew that. Did you know that?
no, I think I
No.
heard somewhere you were in China. So I thought you were
No,
based in
no, no.
China. Oh, the training, I think you mentioned it.
I am half Chinese. That's the thing. So I was born and raised in Beijing in China. So you're not wrong. Like I spent 16, 17 years there. I grew up there. I went to school there all the way from elementary school until high school graduation. But now I'm in New York for grad school. I'm at Columbia. I'm in New York, right? So yeah, if you come here, let me know. Happy to. So about the stereotype, it is very, very true. I was in my head, I was thinking you would have good business in China. Like every single student, every kid growing up needs to play an instrument. Like it is basically, it's like having bread at home. Like that's how common it is. Literally every single kid, if the family can afford it, okay, because tutors are also expensive. So as long as they can afford it, kid's gonna play an instrument. Most common ones are the guitar, or no, sorry, violin and piano. From what I've seen, yeah, violin and piano. And I played piano growing up, so my mom was one of those stereotypical moms. Um, who, but I'm really, really grateful because she exposed me to all kinds of sports, just activities. Piano was my instrument growing up. And I think, my only regret is I didn't take it seriously when I was young because it was forced upon me, right? I didn't understand the purpose of playing. I didn't understand what it was doing to my mind. That, maybe I was forming connections and it was really improving things like memory and etc. But I didn't understand that, right? So because I was forced into playing it, I didn't enjoy it. I would fake, practicing the piano at times. I'd leave the covers open, etc., and be like, hey, I already played, right? Even though I didn't. So that's my only regret. But the time that I did play and all the lessons I had, I thought it was amazing to grow up with an instrument. Yeah, it really like teaches you a lot of things you don't get at school. I'd say patience is one of them. There's a certain elegance to it. I think it's just beautiful seeing someone play. And yeah, I know it does a lot of good things to the brain too. I mean, you probably know more about that than me.
I know. I love it. That's why I love teaching.
Uh-huh.
So then, do you recall how many years you studied for and the method that they used?
Oh, whoa. I studied for at least, I'd say 3 to 4. So I had a tutor. He came to my house every single week, I think once per week. And then the method, though, I could not tell you that. I mean, to this day, I still have some trouble reading the notes. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Did he have like the sheet music or was it by ear? Suzuki method, they call it. So was it with the books that you would look at the notes and then you would play, or he would play and you would copy?
No, 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 just books. Like he taught me how to actually read all the, what do you call it? The notes.
No. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yay. Thank you for sharing. I love it. I love it. If I got $1 for every adult that says they wish they took it seriously or they wish they never stopped,
Right.
I'd rather be a millionaire.